So this quiz review will be the first of two, and then Wednesday we'll have our quiz. So the first one's simply says simplify. So you just do what it says. If it says to add, it says you add. If it says to subtract, you subtract. Multiply, multiply. So this one says add, and the next one says subtract. When it says to add, just combine like terms as they are. When it says to subtract, change the signs of each one after the subtraction, and then combine like terms. Find the product means to multiply. So you're just going to distribute the 5m to both, and then distribute the negative 6 to both. When it looks like number 4, you just have to do more distributing, and for each one. So the 5x times all three, and then the 8 times all three. After you're done multiplying, you always combine like terms. So number 5 here is a little different because it has two variables, but it's the exact same idea. So 8y times 8y will be 64y squared. 8y times negative 8x will just be negative 64xy. The order of the x and y doesn't really matter. I usually put them alphabetical. So that's it for the 8y. Then we go to the 8x. We have 8x times 8y. We get a positive 64xy. Then we have 8x times negative 8x. Negative 64x squared. And then we combine like terms. Now like terms have the same variable and the same exponent, so notice the xy's in both of these, so those are like terms. So we can combine them. Negative 64 plus 64 go to 0, and then you just drop the other guys down because they're not like terms. 64y squared minus 64x squared. There, that's it for that. Number 6 says to square this thing, so make sure you write it twice and multiply it with itself. And then it'll be just like number 5. Okay, then we've got division here. Remember, you can do synthetic division if there's a 1 here, so those two you can do synthetic. Number 9, you can do, you have to do long division because of that 4. If you have questions about the division, go look at the previous video for the division examples. Okay, factoring completely. Remember, you factor by grouping. So you group the first two, group the second two, factor out any common factors. And in this one, all you can get out is an n squared. That common factor goes in the front, and the result goes inside. The second group, I can't factor anything out. So if you want to put a 1 there, that's essentially what you're doing, is factoring out a 1. And now, since these are the same, then you can undistribute the coefficients in front of those, and the n squared plus 1 go in a group, and 7n plus 2 goes in another group. So that's factoring completely. The last group is what we were doing on Friday, just stating if it is a factor or not. So if the remainder is 0, then yes, it's a factor. If the remainder is not 0, then no, it is not a factor.